dear viewer. It has done it to me again. My audio file has disappeared, so I have to re-record the audio. Luckily, a lot of this game is just reading, so let's get into it. I'm Alice, and today we're going to be continuing on with the charming little game, Bad End Theater. So we just have a few endings left for the Overlord and the Maiden and the hero, and I think that we're going to manage to get them all now. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, so let's look at the pathing and see what we've got. So we've got the true end for her, but we do still have these two other endings. Can't be dutiful. Let's go. Yeah, we're gonna skip. Tell them to get back to work. Skip. You're awakened by one of your underlings. They've brought you a hero, inquires about a missing maiden. You tell him you don't know anything. Humans rarely visit this place. He believes you and goes home, to your surprise. You figured he might try to fight you, but you're glad to get back to your nap instead. Until you wake up to something completely unexpected. Before you know it, everything around you is engulfed in flames. What's going on? You try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You're having trouble forcing it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out. Are you being usurped? They have zero foresight. What castle will they rule if this one burns? You don't want to believe that your underlings have betrayed you, but this is no accident, those ungrateful bastards. You choke on the thick black smoke from the fire. You can't believe you've been done in by a bunch of cowards. You'll see them in hell. I mean, I guess you will. You're all demons, right? Burned Overlord. Okay, let's look at the pathing and see what we can find. For her last ending. Alright, so if he's disloyal... So it's the same, he just needs to be disloyal instead of a coward. We're just gonna go ahead and skip. Get back to work. One of your underlings is tearing your throat out. You try to struggle, but you can tell you're already mortally wounded. What have you done to deserve this kind of ending? You curse at them, choking on your own blood. You die, wondering if you could have done anything to prevent this. Assassinated Overlord End. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 4, and this one's pink too, just like the Overlord. Kind of like the last one was blue, this one's pink. Set the stage. Where is it? Here we go. My love, do you remember when we first met? I just finished one of my scripts, one I was quite proud of. In fact, as I read it aloud, you happened to pass by. What a terrible ending, you said. Why should these poor fools have to die? You were so rude. You wouldn't accept any of my justifications, and yet you managed to convince me. It really would be better if everyone could live in harmony, however unrealistic that felt. I look back fondly on that day, even now. I wonder if, somewhere, you're thinking of it too. Forever yours, Tragedy. Oh, and look, this has pink writing too. Kind of like that's weird. We've got the pink writing. There isn't any blue writing in the Underling letter, but maybe that's because there aren't any quotes. Alright, let's look. I think, let's see. So, the hero has 5 endings, and the maiden has 5 endings as well. So I guess we'll just start with the maiden. Yep, we're a maiden. Let's go ahead and skip. We're so cute though, look at us. Cute little bean. Introduce yourself. You tell the demon your name. Refuse to leave. Okay. You put your foot down and tell her you're not going anywhere. You still want to fulfill your destiny, even if you have to make it happen on your own. She's a little frustrated at your stubbornness, but doesn't kick you out or anything. Hooray! The Overlord shares many stories about demons with you, and little by little, you realize they might not be the ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. As it turns out, she commanded her demons to avoid towns and villages. She didn't want to risk giving the humans any excuse to send a hero out after them. You realize that must be why you've never heard of any demons attacking your town. You express your gratitude to the Overlord on behalf of your village. She says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought demons were violent and unreasonable creatures, but it seems the Overlord could say the same of humans. You may be different, but really, they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. Yeah, everybody's going through the same thing. And honestly, if your village heard you saying this, they'd burn you at the stake, which they've already done, so who's worse? But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you now, you think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept it to yourself, but spending time with this Overlord has been very nice. You'll feel butterflies in your stomach. As you think that, a hero enters the room. You're surprised to see him at first, until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks you what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in any danger. The hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hasn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, didn't anyone read the note you left? Jeez. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. But the Overlord objects to the hero's suggestion. You tell her you plan on returning soon, but she isn't having it. You feel nervous. The hero puts on a brave face for you. If you won't let her go, maybe demons are evil after all. And if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You leave me no choice. The Overlord suddenly jumps the hero. She tears into him with her claws. You want to cry out, but the scream catches in your throat. You watch because you can't look away. Had she really been lying to you all along? You wonder, is this your punishment for questioning the divine plan? The Overlord approaches you now. You back yourself into a corner. Her expression is complicated. Being captured by the Overlord in a horrible way like this was your destiny, after all. She vows to keep you very safe from now on. You're afraid to find out what that means, but there's no one left to save you. You belong to the Overlord now. Captured Maiden. So let's get the next one. You know the drill. We're skipping. We'll refuse to leave. But the Overlord stops. Or rather, someone has stopped her. Being captured by the Overlord in a horrible way like this, it was your destiny after all. But the Overlord stops, or rather, someone has stopped her. Whatever held back your scream before doesn't stop you this time. The Overlord is being ripped to shreds by one of her demon underlings. You think you recognize them, but it's hard to tell with all that blood. Everyone's stopped moving now. The room is silent, save for the underling's heavy breathing. You thank them for what they've done. Even though it was awful, you feel you've been rescued from a terrible fate. They look at you, confused for a moment, but then puff out their chest. You should probably go home. This place is dangerous. You follow their advice and make your way out of the castle. You decide never to leave home again for the rest of your life. No, you need to get out. experience things. Alright, well, that's the escaped maiden. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so let's leave on our own. We don't need his help. They immediately notice you overheard them and decide to lock you in the dungeon before you can cause any trouble. You cry out, but the demons ignore your protests. You can't believe you escaped possibly being thrown in a cell in your own village, only to be tossed in this awful place. This is terrible. Who's gonna keep those demons from harming the Overlord? You hope she can fend for herself. You sure can't. You hear the sounds of battle echoing through the halls outside. Did the hero follow you? If he's out there, your cries don't reach him. After a while, the violence seems to die down. It's impossible to tell what's happened. You continue to wait, but no one comes for you. Unable to escape, you rot in that cell. Imprisoned Maiden. So we just stay there. They forget about us. It's awful. Okay. So now we've just got the true ending variant, so let's see. Skip. Okay, we'll obey. Do we obey? I think we obey. Grab the hero and run. You boldly announce that you'll accompany the hero to prove yourself. You'd rather risk what's out there instead of staying in a village that doesn't trust you. No one seems to know how to react. You grab the hero by the wrist and take off before anyone stops you. Near the castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. You have to warn her. Alright, yeah, this is the path to the true end, because we've got the color palette change again. But the hero shakes his head. He says that if this is the true nature of demons, the world is better off with less of them. This isn't right, you think? What kind of hero passes up the chance to save a life? The demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. You take off into the castle, and the unreliable hero follows shortly after. You burst into the Overlord's room, all your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time. The Overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The Underling you recognize from earlier barges in, calling you a liar. You're surprised they were part of this evil plot. They seemed so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying the whole thing was the first Underling's idea. Everyone's shouting at each other now. It's really stressing you out. You're relieved when the Overlord demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she's very Overlord-like in this moment. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. You watch as it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? You have a bad feeling about this. And thinking that must have jinxed it, because now the room is engulfed in flames. If only you'd ignored these demons before, you and the hero wouldn't have stumbled into this situation. If you just pretended not to hear them, if you left as you were told, only the Overlord would have to be killed. But you couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that no matter what, you'll always strive for the path where everyone survives. It must exist. It simply must. The Overlord seizes her Underling. They beg for their life. You pray. You don't know what else to do, so you just pray. The Overlord's claws pierce the Underling's chest. They scream an awful scream. She digs and twists her claws into the poor thing while you continue to pray. There's no saving any of you now. You, the Overlord, the hero, and the Underling's corpse are consumed by flames. Devout Maiden. Alright, so let's go ahead and add the merciful option so that we can get the true ending. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip. There we go. The Overlord spares the Underling. You feel relieved, but does it make any difference? Will you all burn together? Yes. Yes, you will. True Maiden's true end. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 2, and it's purple. Keep collecting bad endings for now. Alright, let's read number 2. My love, I've finally fulfilled a childhood dream of mine. Yes, that's right. I opened up my very own theater. You would be so proud. If you could only see it. I know how much it would have meant to you to be by my side on opening night. I'm sorry for going ahead without you, but I thought if my theater could become world famous, then maybe you just might hear of it, wherever you are. Forever yours, Tragedy. That's sad. I wonder what's going on with Tragedy. Like, are we ever gonna get their story? Dutiful through and through. Ask the maiden what's going on. She explains that she came here on her own and was never in any danger. She hesitantly asks why you're covered in blood. Oh. You don't know how to respond. The Overlord moves past you and out the door to see her armies in lifeless, bloody piles. She's wailing. It's horrible. This is your chance, hero. This is all just a big misunderstanding. Because I think we've already stabbed the Overlord. You hope she'll let this whole thing slide if you could just explain yourself. You really try, but the Overlord is inconsolable. She tears you apart, and the maiden watches in silence. As you die, you can't help but think you probably deserved this. Well, that's depressing. Tragic hero. Okay. Alright, what else do we have? One of these times I'm gonna actually remember these pathings. Flee like a coward. Believe her. The air becomes dark and thick as you enter deep into the demon territory. Evil miasma? No, you realize it's just normal smoke. You see the maiden ahead, but she's stopped in her tracks. The Overlord's castle engulfed in flames. You had only taken an eye off the maiden for a second, but she's already disappeared. You get closer to the castle, but the smoke is so thick now, you think of turning back. The maiden might need your help, but you can barely see. She could be impossible to find. She could have been lying to you all along. Was this a trap? Would it be worth risking your life on that chance? Your legs feel heavy. No, going in there would be suicide. You return to the villagers and tell them there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. Bystander hero. Alright, flee. Ask if they'll let you in. Ask the maiden what's going on. This is all kind of the same. The maiden explains that she was never actually captured, and that she came here of her own volition. Yeah, now we're just seeing it from the hero's point of view, because we've just played this on the maiden side. That was a pretty dangerous thing of her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you to reassure everyone of her safety. But the Overlord objects to this. The maiden tries to tell her that she'll come right back, but the Overlord refuses to hear it. The maiden seems nervous. As a hero, it's your job to mediate situations like these. You tell the Overlord that if she doesn't let the two of you go, you'll have to assume she's evil. You'll be forced to vanquish her. You leave me no choice. The Overlord pauses before suddenly jumping you. You are helpless as she disembowels you with her claws. Wow, disembowels. How horrible. You came all this way only to be met by this cruel fate. You should have destroyed these evil creatures while you had the chance. Your dying wish is for the Maiden to somehow make it out of this alive. I mean, if the Underling killed the Overlord, then she did make it out. Naive hero. Alright, I think we've just got the 2 final endings now, right? Let's not do the merciful one yet. Let's do the true ending last. Alright, so let's... As you stand there, not sure what to do, the Maiden announces that she's going to prove her story to the village. She drags you along with her. She has much better odds with you around, so you don't object. Adventure awaits. Look at his little face, he's so shocked. It's adorable. And she's so determined. When you make it to the castle, you spy a group of suspicious demons hanging around near the entrance, and you can't help but overhear their conversation. They're talking about assassinating their overlord. This proves to you that demons really are foul creatures. We have to tell her about this. You don't understand what the Maiden is thinking. The world is better off with less demons. They're all cold, ruthless creatures that should be destroyed. And those same creatures have just noticed you eavesdropping. The Maiden takes off into the castle and you have no choice but to follow. She bursts into the Overlord's room. The Maiden frantically tries to communicate what you've just overheard. A demon Underling barges in next, calling you liars. It's followed by the group from the entrance, who shifts the blame back onto the little one. These demons only care about themselves. How low can they be? You begin shouting at them. The whole room dissolves into noise, until the Overlord yells for everyone to shut their traps. She threatens them with violence. This Overlord is no better than her subjects. You grip your sword tightly. If you have to cut through everyone here to get the Maiden to safety, you certainly will. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the runt of the litter behind. You glance around for another exit, but there isn't one. You have a terrible feeling about this. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. What kind of demon magic is this? The Underling pounds on the door, upset that it's been betrayed. You join in, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. The next moment, the Overlord has taken hold of the Underling. It's crying for mercy. She thrusts her claws into the Underling's chest, and it lets out a horrible scream. You back away. You won't be the next target of her rage. She continues to dig and twist her claws into its limp body. You can no longer watch. You look to the Maiden. She's crying, hands clasped together in prayer. To have faith in a time like this, you envy her. The two of you, the Overlord, and the Underling's corpse are all consumed by flames. Now, the next one should... Oh, Resigned Hero. So the next one should be the true ending. So let's add the merciful option. Yeah, we know where this is all going. Is she gonna kill it as retribution? It continues to cry and make excuses, but the Overlord does nothing. To your surprise, she lets it go. Are demons capable of mercy? You guess it doesn't matter now. You'll all burn together. Hero's true end. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtains. You found lost letter number 1. Let's go ahead and read that final letter. My love, it just isn't fair at all, is it? For them to force us apart like this, it's unreasonable. Cruel. I had to find an outlet for this grief somehow, so I decided to write, and I'll keep writing until the day you find me once more. And then, maybe we can write a story together. I'm waiting for that day. Forever yours, Tragedy. Alright, so we've gotten all of the endings, so the only thing that's left to do is do the final end. Which is gonna have to wait until the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in for our big finale.